technology can empower or control society. What we've seen in this pandemic, I've been blacklisted and banned from basically every social media platform. I've been arrested for public speaking. I want everybody to walk out with a little bit of energy, inspiration, motivation. So I need a huge fire. The anxiety and the pressure will never go away. Do it fucking scared. If you want to be top of the top, I think the Ronaldos and the Messis are always under pressure.
Now, I know that we can talk for over an hour. We could talk for about 2 days on all the things that you've got to share. And some people will know you well from looking at Digital Future, from talking about marketing, from the fact that you've traveled around the world, spoken in over 50 countries. But let's start with the really simple questions. Let's start with why and how did you start public speaking?
Yeah. Good question. Looking back, I would give you a whole different answer, but how it went in my experience and how I tell other people what happened, it's a huge gap. I think I'm a misfit. I come from a very difficult youth background, upbringing. I didn't know that, but later in life, it seems that those people mostly have high empathy and sympathy. So that mainly might declare why I speak with purpose, passion, paycheck, and not in a different order. But this is what you find out when you're grown up. I'm 50, so I'm almost mature now. But the real story is I was founding the Interactive Advertising Bureau with a few people back in 1997. The start of the internet, where everybody said, Igor, what are you doing? It's a hype, you're crazy, let it go. And I knew for sure that the internet technology or revolution would be the most disruptive technology maybe of the coming 100 years. So I thought, no, this is going to be big, it's going to be disruptive. We need to hold on to this. And more importantly, we need to establish and professionalize and standardize the internet industry, which was basically not existing at that moment. Long story short, I did that. I became the chairman of the IAB for several years. Then you are obliged to speak at several conferences with marketing, media, con, whatever. What is your vision on the future? Where is it going, etc. And in one moment, 2000, a very famous Dutch writer and speaker said to me after a conference, Igor, you've got the holy fire. What are you going to do with this? I said, Ben, what the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? What are you going to do with this speaking? He said, oh, no, nothing, bro. I hate it. It's a mandatory thing. But, well, what do you want me to do? He said, well, you're supposed to become a speaker. He said, okay. And do I wear a t-shirt? Call me 0800, I'm a speaker. How do you see that? He said, no, I will bring you to my speaker bureau. And I said, yeah, well, nobody knows me, so why would anybody book me? Long story short, I went there, nothing happened for 2 or 3 months. And then a first call came. Can you do the leading marketing innovation summit of OCA copiers in St. Wolfgang am Johannsee in Austria? I was nervous, Tom. I thought, what the fuck? Okay, so now they're going to pay you for your first speech. So the pressure is on. Can I do this? 500 people conference in Austria. I'm finally there. My mouth is dry. My knees are shaking. It's my first paid professional speech. I'm into my introduction. And there starts an incredible firework, but really loud. Nobody knew what the fuck was happening. People on the first row looked me in the eye like there was a terror attack. People dived under the seats. It took like 10 minutes. I froze, everybody froze. The ice was broken. The host or the moderator came back on the podium. He said, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Igor Beuker. He comes in with a big bang. Give him another big hand of applause. All my nerves were gone. It was a super talk. I felt engaged, inspired. The feedback was amazing. And I thought, yeah, I'm going to do this. But yeah, now you're depending on people to book you. So every artist and speaker and DJ, you have a certain curve. Yeah. The first DJs or the first speakers, I called a lot of events and event planners. I said, hey, I did a few speeches. I got great reviews. can I be on your event? And they said, no, we'll call you back next year, maybe. So welcome back to reality. This is the curve that a lot of speakers have to go through. Every beginning artist has to play an opening to build up a portfolio. So it takes a long time to become a full-time professional international public speaker. If anybody wants that.
If they want to do that. I want to talk to you about that, because when we spoke last time, you spoke about how you approached your management very differently.
Yes.
Fairly early on in the beginning, because you didn't feel that the system around you was supporting you effectively. Tell us about how and why you made that decision, and what decision you made.
That's a very good question. I think it's one of the most biggest secrets in public speaking, which I had to discover over the ride of the last 22 years. It goes back to youth again. I was 24, complete utter misfit, already expelled from university, and I was kicked out of professional football. I played in a few football clubs in Holland, good national teams for years. I was a real talent, but also I had my rockstar rebel gangster mentality. And that doesn't go really well together. And I didn't have the people around me that said, Igor, you're 24, shut up and be humble and stop with the rockstar bullshit, because they're going to kick you out. And they did. So it's not a story about injuries, all kind of sad stories. No, I fucked up a professional football career and I was good at it. So I was back at ground zero at 24. So when I started, I thought, hey, you blew up a professional speaking career. Not everybody gets a second chance in life. You got to be very grateful. This might be public speaking. And then I said to a few friends, DJs, I want to go to the world top. I want to be a Cristiano or a Leo Messi or a top international speaker. This is my last opportunity to make right what I really screwed up. So then I spoke with a lot of people that are in the artist and music and DJ industry. I say, how do I set up a top speaker? How would Tony Robbins do it? And they say, well, Igor, a lot of speakers, they hang with one or two or three speaker bureaus, which is nice. You should do the same. But you're also a walking fee or a number for most of the speaker bureaus. The real top artists and DJs, they have a complete management, their own booking system. They work on personal branding, and they will really launch you like a true artist. But we as speakers, we don't make the fees that the DJs do. So the difficulty is, how do you copy a setup that works really well for professional artists, musicians, and DJs if the fee structures are lower? So that was quite a struggle, but we worked towards a model with our own management, our own personal branding. Of course, we work with several promoters and speaker bureaus around the world. But this is all based, of course, when you set your true North Star, I wanted to inspire, create a platform of course artists, social entrepreneurship. I really admire the Mandelas and the Malalas. So I wanted to give back in speaking and reach millions of people. So you have to choose a different setup. But for the people that listen, I know karaoke speakers. I know CEOs that sometimes speak for a fee. I know that some speakers pay to be on stage. Some people, speakers are paid very well. If you're a headliner act and you can carry event or put butts in seats. I run my own events. So there is a very ambitious level. But if you're just a local speaker and you enjoy speaking in your local market, in your local language 10 times a year, also fine. So depending on what you set on as a true North Star, what is your marketing and speaking plan for the coming 5 to 10 years? Where do you want to go? Yeah, and for me, that was all in or nothing. So I had to, set it up big.
So let's talk about that. It was one of the things we spoke about last time was mission and purpose. So yes. How did you find yours? And then how do you live that mission and purpose in the way that you speak today and the way that you plan what you're doing today?
That's a very good question. Okay, I'm 50. So I
that's the new 30, right? 50 is the new 30. So you're
I hope so. But the experience I have, I wish I had that at 30, of course, because I made every mistake that a man my age can make. So I learned a lot. I help a lot of other people and speakers. I coach them. I have some ideas how to do speaking on scale. But when I found my purpose, it was, I always spoke about the fourth industrial revolution for 15 years ago. So a lot of people said he's crazy, he's an idiot, this is sci-fi. Well, newsflash, the madmen are flying back to back with NASA. So sci-fi is a reality. I know what is possible. I know what I can do. I made a lot of exits, 5 to be exactly. And I put 90% of that money into social startups, 24. All my speaking fees go into social startups. I work with cause artists and social entrepreneurs. Technology can empower or control society. What we've seen in this pandemic, I've been blacklisted and banned from basically every social media platform. Because if you speak the irreversible truth nowadays, you get banned, blocked, or
cancelled.
Yeah, it's really horrible. But I have a purpose. I'm on a mission. I've been arrested for public speaking.
Yeah.
So a lot of people see a cool guy with a gray beard. Gandalf on tour, my friends call me, in a black suit. He's a rock star, he's cool. And the truth is that in 50 countries, I'm blacklisted. If I enter the airport, I will get arrested immediately. I have been arrested after conferences in countries where I speak the truth about freedom and democracy. I've been in jail, I've been beaten up.
So let's slow that. Let's pick one of those, because last time we spoke, you had a point where you had an ESTA ban. And you also,
in the US,
and you got arrested in Istanbul, right?
Yes.
So tell us about. Let's start with this. I've literally just come back from Turkey myself. So what happened there, and why you're sticking to your freedom of speech piece? Why are you not bending your content?
Yeah, of course I have a management. And they sometimes say to me, Igor, well, thank you for the last Instagram post. It will cost you another 20 speeches. In the US, to give it context, under Trump, I spoke at a huge 2018, a huge media conference in the US. And I said, listen, why are you misinforming the people? You are the media, you have responsibility. Why is Trump building a wall to keep the Mexicans out? Newsflash. It's robots, automation, and AI taking low-schooled US jobs. Why are you lying to the people? That became trending on Twitter. My management got I don't know, an email from ESTA or FBI that I was blocked or banned from the US for the coming 2 years. So you lose all your speeches. That is painful, but that's just a warm up for me. In Istanbul, there was a conference, media conference. After the conference, there is an unscripted Q&A. People can ask me anything. I will always give an honest answer, no matter the consequences. And then I got arrested and taken to prison, and I was stayed there for 7 days. No lawyer. I got beautiful new teeth after, because remember when journalist Jamal Khashoggi was killed in an embassy in Istanbul, and a bad story with a doppelganger. It was like a spy movie. We all know that public speaking, writing, or journalism is a very dangerous profession. People disappear, get thrown in jail, or just get butchered. So I spoke to my son, I think he's 21 now, and I spoke to him 5-6 years ago. And I said to him, you know, your dad is a big admirer of Mandela and Malala. I've been in jail in Istanbul. I've been banned already in the US. Do you still support that purpose if he's not coming back one day? And he said, well, I would really miss you, but I understand that this is necessary. So there is a whole difference between purpose, passion, paycheck, lifestyle. Speaking is a lifestyle for me. In the pandemic, I nearly killed myself mentally, because 2 years on the bench is horrible when you are 200 days per year around. And yeah, I have to look in the mirror frequently, because I do get a lot of painful feedback. I do get a lot of bans. And so I think that a lot of people should realize what is my true North Star, and what am I willing to give up to win or to lose for that.
So I'm going to change tack Thank you for that. On to something we discussed before, which is nerves. And how you dealt with them early on in your career, and this piece that you said of why you still need them now.
Yes. I remember from football, I was a good player, I was experienced, but I always experienced a sort of cramp in my stomach before the match. The match excitement. Boxers have it, artists have it, football players have it. It's good, you need it. I need fear, I need anxiety, I need that to make a combustion, spark my fire, my engine. Don't forget, if I'm in an audience of 10 or 10,000 people, I want everybody to walk out with a little bit of energy, inspiration, motivation. So I need a huge fire. And I've learned that the anxiety and the pressure will never go away. Do it fucking scared. If you want to be top of the top, I think the Ronaldos and the Messis are always under pressure. And under pressure, everything becomes liquid. Only a few people stay standing and can keep it cool under pressure. And if you want to be the top of the top, you got to find ways, methodologies to control your breath, do a little bit of meditation, but do it scared. If you go to space tomorrow, you can explode. Yeah, what are you going to do? Are you going to fly with Branson, or you want to fly with the Musk, or are you going to stay on planet Earth and look up because you're scared? So I think fear is a very good thing if you can reverse it into combustion. If I want to make a fire, it needs to be big. So I learned how to control and use the fear and the anxiety to get to the best performance of my life. But I still have it, and I will have it until my last speech. And if I ever lose the tension before that, that will be my last speech.
Yeah.
I will immediately stop.
So you're saying something that I understand, but I can imagine people are thinking how. So I'm going to go on stage. I've got all this nervous tension.
Yeah.
Let's call it fear. What are you saying to yourself? What's your meditation? How are you controlling your breathing? What is it that you actually do to harness that?
No, of course, I'm mostly a headliner act. That means that now, in the beginning, I was not. So I was somewhere in the middle of the lineup. And then the waiting, Tom, the waiting is killing. The mouth gets drier, your back gets wet. And every 30 minutes you think, where is the exit? Can I still run out? No. Now I have to be in the beginning of the conference, for example. I don't know the vibe. I don't know the energy. I'm an important part of setting that energy for the day. I try to meditate, control my breath, put my hands in this together, but still, sorry, the energy, the adrenaline, I need it, I use it. Because if you don't feel fear or anxiety, you're going to be as lame as a puppet. You're not going to ignite and give energy to everybody. So you really, really need it. Think about that. See it as a very positive thing. Embrace it.
I love that. And I remember you saying to me, literally, when you walk out on stage, you are, as you've just said, you're giving energy to that audience because you're setting the tone for the whole of the event that's coming.
Yes. Some people also say it. Guys, I'm really nervous for today. You can do that if you're a starting or a rookie speaker. And the audience will love you for it. It's the power of vulnerability. And after the pandemic, I had it again. After 2 years, no live meetings, you feel like a beginner again. I was so nervous. Good, because those were the best talks, because you convert that energy. If you are in survival mode, you need a lot of adrenaline. So can you imagine that you don't feel anxiety and you're there a little bit like a lame puppet? No. Use it. No, use it. You really got to use it. It's okay. You're not going to die.
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 You might die on stage, but you're not actually going to die. No. Content. It's a big one that we spoke about before. How do you, and there's two parts to this for me, because I think it was really smart thing that you mentioned to me before. So one is, how do you choose your content? And the second part is, how do you tell, or how do you work with those that are organizing events on the format? Okay. Because often people can put you into the wrong format or the wrong length, right?
Yes. Yeah, very true. Good questions. The story I'm going to give you now is with a lot of experience. I wish I had done it differently. So my advice would be, I didn't want to do too many personal storytelling. I'm not a motivational, but an inspirational speaker. I've got my vision, my sixth sense for trends. I can back it up with a track record, with the exits. So I think I have a radical vision. A lot of people call me crazy and it's too far out, but my prediction accuracy rate is 84%, which is sky high. I know what I'm talking about, but people think I'm radical. They call me an idiot. I'm labeled in many ways. So you have to really be strong about your vision and your power. That's one. The content I'm always creating was pretty unique, but to be honest, Tom, there's a billion pieces of content going up online every day. How can a story ever stand out? It's really, really difficult. And I was one of the first ones on the planet 10 years before World Economic Forum to speak about a fourth industrial revolution. It's a prediction. I explained why. But my personal story, where do I come from? What have I been through? How did that empower me to become a misfit on a mission? Why am I invited by Richard Branson, Novak Djokovic, and people that really want to change the world? They can invite a million speakers. Why me? So the personal storytelling is the unique part that makes me really stand out, because nobody can copy my personal story. And all my other stories, there are great speakers and futurists out there with a vision on Industry 4.0, trends in technology, marketing and innovation. So the combination of my experience, which is unique, me as a human being and my past, which is unique, I think that makes you stand out as a speaker. Because with content alone, I don't really know if you can stand out with that. So it's a mix, I think. If I would do it again, I would blend in the personal stories much sooner in my speaking career than before. But I don't like it because I'm a weird kind of guy. I don't like the voice of America or the voice of Britain, where people start with a very sobby, snobby and sad story. And you know what I mean? It's very American. He lost his mom, or he was kicked out of everything, and now he wants to become a singer or a speaker. I think a story and a vision should stand on its own, even if you don't have a sad background story. So I was a little bit resistant to blend in the personal stuff, which was stupid. So I learned a lot.
And then about formats, because I think you said that somebody had tried to ask you for the future of retail in 18 minutes. You're like, that's a ridiculous thing to be asked to do.
No. The thing for me in public speaking is, it is an unprofessional industry in many ways if I compare it to the DJs in the music world. There's a lot of speaker bureaus. They see speakers as a walking fee. It's not really artist management. So they sometimes might present an event that is complete utter mismatch. It's a complete mismatch in terms of format, event, content, speaking, energy, matchmaking. They don't care. A lot of events don't care. A lot of events have a lineup. They don't pay for speakers, so content is no longer king. What do you get? Events that lie to the audience. We've got the world's greatest speakers. No, you don't. You don't even want to pay for speakers. The content and the lineup you created is shit. So you should give the tickets away for free, not let people buy a flight ticket, a hotel, an expensive entry. Because especially in the UK, I see a lot of formats in speaking where the event is around paid speakers. So the sponsors and the speakers have to pay to tell their story. The result, the event is promising the world's greatest lineup of speakers. The audience will hear walking advertorials and sponsored speakers. For me, really, I walk out of the audience to never return. So we do our own events. So we can easily say to events, we do our own, we know the value, we know how many tickets we can sell, and we know how to program the event. Super moderator, you need a headliner, opening and a keynote speaker. In between, you can do a build-up. And yeah, I see a lot of events that nowadays they easily say big ones. We don't pay for speakers. We don't even pay for your travel or whatever. We don't give you a ticket, kickback, nothing. Can you imagine that I come from the island of Ibiza, where Black Coffee plays 10 Saturdays, the DJ in high, he makes the event, he fills it up, and he gets a huge fee for 10 Saturdays doing that. That is how it really works. But in the event industry, we are able to tell content is no longer king, and we don't pay for speakers anymore, which is eroding the quality of business events immensely. And it's a pity, because why?
What are this? We've not spoken about this before, but it's a really good point on where you're at. There are so many events, some of which have got these walking advertorials splattered with a few, and I've probably been one of those walking advertorials at some point. Hopefully trying to make it fun and interesting whilst doing it. What are the standout events that you go, I really want to speak at that? I've got a huge respect for that event still. Are there a few, one or two that stick out for you?
Yeah, of course, there are. We call it our global bucket list.
Yeah.
And this is how you start with programming. It's like the DJs. Where does a DJ want to be programmed if you start in a certain genre? It depends, of course, if you're techno, house, EDM, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you said, is the matchmaking okay? An EDM DJ at the techno festival will never happen. So the programming is really important. The event planners need to step up the game.
Yeah.
But if you are a beginning DJ, you make a list. Big dreams. I want to be in Coachella, Burning Man, this. I have the simpler events as well. So we start with big open events where people have to register, buy tickets, etc.
Yeah.
We make a lot of our money, the speakers, at events where I call it in-company private events or for brands.
Right.
You cannot buy tickets. It's Coca-Cola or Unilever marketing, innovation, technology, whatever day.
Yeah.
And there is, of course, the social innovation event, the Ocean Accent Summit at Necker Island, where you speak 5 days with peers and entrepreneurs who made it. I call it course artists, course athletes, people like Serena Williams, who invest 100 million in funding social startups. If you come into a next level of speaking where it's more about giving back, and using the power of fans and artists to make a better, cleaner, greener, brighter world, you come in a whole different playing field.
I want to, just because I don't want to miss it, it's because slightly irrelevant, so I'm going to pop it in now, is when you're speaking to an audience, a wide audience that speak different languages, and how you, because I'd never thought about this when you spoke about it, so just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, there's many. I could write a book about it. I'm not going to do it because I'm a horrible writer. You could sitting or speaking.
You tell me, I'll put it in the book. It's fine.
Oh, please, yeah. Well, the cool thing is, I didn't know that. But when you become, for me, the most powerful thing and beautiful thing is about speaking is I've been speaking 100 countries. I've learned about countries, religions, local cultures. Beautiful for me. It's the best thing I've ever. Okay, I'm only at home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So socially, it's a very poor life. I hardly see my friends and my family, and they forget to call me because I'm away all the time. So be careful what you wish for. Do you want that lifestyle? It's lonely at the top sometimes, but it's incredible. Language. I'm a man of spoken word. I know that my English is not, I cannot compete with the native London or American speakers, which is my biggest benefit of ever, because everybody, which is not a native English speaker, understands me. It's a big benefit. An example of this, I spoke in China at the Global Marketing Summit of a big brand. There is translators, one did Chinese, one Japanese, one Spanish. And I spoke in English. Now I know that the translators will never translate, literally, my words, because they cannot do that in most Asian cultures. So before the speech, I sit with the translators, I let them translate, I let somebody else check if they translate what I say. They don't, because my bold, accessible style is difficult for a lot of translators in a lot of audiences. So eventually, I don't have control. I speak in English. Suddenly the Japanese start laughing. Okay, probably about a joke I made 30 seconds ago. 30 seconds later, the Chinese start laughing, and there the Spanish audience starts laughing. It is very difficult if you do a speech in English and it's translated with headsets to people in 3 languages. Very difficult. Yeah. A 360 stage, not where the audience is in front of you, but a 360 stage is like doing the cha-cha-cha. If there is no turning podium, you have to do 1, 2, 3, step aside, 1, 2, 3. You need to keep counting, because in many cultures, also in Western European cultures, it's horribly and rude to turn your back towards an audience. People that pay the ticket to come and see you. So how do you do that in a 360? So I learned to do speaking, counting, and the cha-cha-cha, so that you can be, There's a lot of things that people never think about, which is really cool. Same as you said, 18 minutes is a TED Talk. Yeah. TED Talk is an inspirational talk. 12 to 18 minutes is fine. The future of retail in 18 minutes, then you're an idiot if you ask that, because that's not possible. There's too much happening. That is a 45-minute to an hour or a 30-minute talk. So event programming and doing international events, it's fantastic fun, but also very, very difficult sometimes.
So, last couple of questions. My favorite question to ask is always, what would you go and tell? You mentioned it a little bit earlier, but what would you tell your 24-year-old self? How would you coach them? And what would you get, what would ideally would you have done differently? Because you're really successful, right? So you must have got some things right.
Yeah, okay. But what the problem is with successful people? What is success? For me, it's just a warming up. I look at all the things that I could have done differently. So I would have told my 24-year-old self, with the same goals I still have today. That's important. Because I always say to people, start with your purpose, passion, paycheck, lifestyle plan. See what you want to see. Some people only feel comfortable speaking their own mother tongue. Then you're a local speaker. Do you want to be internationally on the main stages and be the next Tony Robbins? Then you have to train and do it completely different. I would have written a book much sooner if I knew what I know now at 24. I would tell myself to start with your own events much sooner, build up your own IP and properties, write a book, build on your personal branding, stand out from the crowd, which is difficult, of course, if you're a rookie speaker, because who's going to help you with it? The speaker bureaus and the people around you cannot help you with it. So like a beginning DJ, you go for a good setup, a management that believes in your vision and you and your future, and build towards that step. Also, build on your own fans. What we see today, I've been shouting that for 10, 15 years, social media and social networks, fans on lease. You're lucky if you can talk to 5% of your fans. If you're an artist or a speaker or a musician or an athlete, you begin with your own fans close to you. Opt in, your own channels, your own database. You're not going to depend on Mark Zuckerberg and other idiots that carve you out of your own fan base. Doesn't make any sense. That same advice I would give brands and events, by the way. Build on your own IP and own your own fan relationships. Social media are there to help you, but you have to be much smarter if you're an artist and work with fans or fan relationships. So those things I would have improved if I would have. So that's what I tell to a lot of people. This is what I did wrong. This is what I'm still doing wrong. This is where you can improve. And be aware, start with your own plan. Everybody is unique and different. I'm an idiot that wants to become the top 10 marketing innovation speaker in the world, just because that is my nature. Yeah. I fucked up a football career. This is my second and last opportunity to see how good I really am. That's the only thing. And my motivation is, of course, inspiring people. I think we don't need politicians, World Economic Forum, and we can do it with cause artists, cause athletes, social entrepreneurs. We can really change the course of the world. And if I can inspire 100 people to do that, I'm making big steps. So I also focus on people. Don't let the crazy social media vanity metrics and likes get to your head. Some people say, for a famous speaker, you don't have a big following. No, good. And if you don't like it, piss off, unlike me here. I rather reach 1,000 world leaders and super artists with 1 million or 10, 20, 50 following, people that can have a real impact, then I say I have 100,000 likes. You know who have 100,000 likes? Boys with six packs and girls with a big ass on Instagram. They have 100,000 likes. Good for you. I want quality likes and people that can really change the world.
Thank you. I was going to say, I'm sure you've affected more than 100 people already. I'm sure. I mean, you've affected me, and I've only spoken to you twice. So,
yeah.
My final question: you cheated last time, and so I'm happy for you to cheat again. Which was, I said, are there two speakers?
Yeah.
Who you really admire, and what questions would you ask them? And you gave me 4, so you can have up to 4.
Very good one. Yeah, well, of course, I admire Tony Robbins like no other. Motivational speaker, different than I am. He's becoming a bit more commercial now with all kind of talks that he's investing in. I always get a little bit weary if Mark Zuckerberg says that Meta is the solution for everybody, while it's a centralized platform taking 50%. But Tony Robbins made public speaking. He's 40 years on top. Everybody knows him. There are Netflix documentaries. There are books. He made public speaking. He runs his own events. The first time the pandemic broke out, he went into virtual speaking.
Yeah, the Zoom walls. The
walls
of all
it's
the
like the voice of America or the voice of Britain. He invested 2 million in a super wall. He did 22,000 paid subscribers times $300, 6.6 million with a virtual event. So everybody that said you cannot make money with a virtual event, content is king. If you're a good speaker and you put butts in seats and you sell out your own events. So a lot of events that don't want to pay, they should look at the speakers that sell out their own events. So Tony Robbins, and I would like to ask him, what are your tips for all the speakers? The same question you asked me. How did you get to the top in 40 years? Do you have 100 or 500 people working for you? It's a machine, it's an operation, it is entertainment, it's production, it is amazing. So yeah, we can learn from them. And the other one is, of course, Joe Rogan. I look a little bit like him. I have a football and a kickboxing background. He's a stand-up comedian, but he's a tough guy. He's a rough guy. He's an authentic guy. He stands up, he speaks out. He's truly authentic. We need more people like him. I'm so happy that Spotify kept him. And I think he's an amazing speaker who is really, really getting to the bottom of things. He's opening eyes, and he's authentic, reliable, independent rock star. And we need more of them. And we need to ask him, how can we do it? What should speakers do? How do they do it? How do you begin? The first Joe Rogan show. Why? What if you're not a stand-up comedian? Can everybody become a good speaker? What do you need in characteristics? Energy, flow, your personality, empathy, sympathy. Are you a good listener? Joe Rogan, tell us, what would you do differently now? I think those two I really admire because they're also very powerful, authentic, and they speak up and they stand up, and that's really important for me.
Well, if I get a chance to interview them, then I'll ask them your questions.
Thank you very much.
And Igor, I think you're the most authentic speaker I've spoken to, in the sense that I know that you know what your true north is.
Yeah.
And even if there's a chance that you're going to be put in jail because of it, you don't deviate from that true north. You just say, look, otherwise I'm betraying myself, so I'm going to keep on heading there. It's an absolute privilege talking to you.
Would for me eventually, maybe, I hope not, because I need my time. I need to inspire more people. I think that what I see today in TV, public figures, politicians, the fact that we lie so easily really hurts me. It offends me. I think leadership, role models. To close off, I lately spoke at a women empowerment event, and I said, okay, I'm a white 50-year-old guy, but it hurts me to the bones and my soul that Kim Kardashian has 300 million followers on Instagram. Not my role model, to be honest. And Malala Yousafzai fighting for education, standing up to Taliban, a real role model for women empowerment in the future, 2 million followers. We, the audience, we should stop making stupid people famous and support more people that are out there with a greater cause than themselves. And that is my big wish, dream, and hope. And if I can play a little part in that, I'm willing to inspire other people to at least do the same.
Or do keep playing a part in that. Somebody said to me the other day, Kennedy spent his time talking about how we needed to knock down the Berlin Wall.
Yes.
And Trump said we need to build a new one. And I think we need a lot more people who want to knock down the walls. And I think you're one of those.
Yeah, the firewalls and big tech and media, we're going to make them humble again. So breaking down firewalls, baby. Thank you very much, brother. It was a pleasure.
Perfect, buddy. Listen, you did say one thing, which I said I'll do last time, and I will do it again, as you said, because you're away from home so much.
Yeah.
And you're only home on Thanksgiving and Christmas that your friends forget to call you. So I will email you. I don't think I've got your mobile number, but I will email you and I will just check in that everything's okay in the land of Igor whenever I get a chance.
I know you will. Thank you very much.
Cheers, buddy.
Talk soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And that's it. There we are.
What time did we spend, amigo? Wow.
It's about 40 minutes.
You happy?
Yeah, I love it. We could do another one. We could do another one about so many different things. And we could just go into one that's about stories. But, you know, I think this is great for now. I had a really good first one with Rory. And about
Rory Sutherland?
Yeah, so we did half an hour. We did half an hour.
Rory's amazing.
And he got a phone call saying he's supposed to be on a client call with, I think it was Direct Line at the time. It was like, shit, I've got to go. I've got to go on this call. But I need to come back and talk to you about this because this is really important. So I've got to do a second one. So maybe we'll do an episode 2 at some point.
Super. He's one of the people, I think, how do you describe it? Natural energy. He's my old colleague in WPP. Eh? We share the stage a lot of time. And he's an amazing person. And what does he have? Generosity factor. People like him. You know, he's not a bragger. He's an amazing guy. No.
But he was really nervous. And it's really the similar. He was really nervous when he started. Really similar to you. He was doing the internet and marketing when it was just at that point. And as he said, people like an internet and marketing conference, right? And so he was at that sweet spot and was just kind of pushed to the front. But then talking to him about content was really interesting because when he first started, every time he did a talk, he wrote a completely new talk.
Yeah.
And he was talking to one of the stand-up comedians in the US who had the same realization, is that most stand-up comedians don't do a whole new set every single time they go out.
No.
And so he then started getting these little modular bits of stories. And it's like, okay, well, I'll take those 3 and I'll put this one. And then now it looks different because I've swapped them around a bit, but you don't have to do everything brand new each time.
Do you know that I got the same advice? And you know why? I didn't even think of it because sometimes you are fresh or you think you can break with the status quo. But the speaker that advised me to become a speaker, he said to me, I have a question. You tailor or customize or bespoke every talk? I said, it depends. Industry 4.0 is a sort of bit block my vision that comes back. But for retail, it's different than for medical or for social innovation or so. It's mostly either or customized or bespoke. He said, how much time do you spend on it? I said, a good question. In total, research, visualization, getting the material, for every minute on stage is 1 hour prepping. He said, wow, 40 minutes is a week prepping. That's consulting. I said, oh, yeah, that's true. He said, 2, like you said, a comedian or a theater group does 4 to 6 to 8 tryouts or rehearsals. After that, they do the speech or the show for the whole season. Yeah. And the more they do the show, the better they get. How can you explain to me that you do something new every time? You can never become good because after one story, you do a different one again. I never thought about it like that. I thought, yeah, that's true. A theater group does the show. I would get sick and bored to death. If I needed to speak 2 years about my book, no, seriously, brain dead. And for me, boring. But
Yeah.
yes, I have now modules as well, and I can tailor and I can customize. But the basis of the story and embed it in a layer of purpose and passion is what I needed too. So yeah, I think it's great advice. How do you do it when you do it new every time? You cannot do it.
No. And the other,
You can, but
the other conversation we talked about was your opening 30 seconds. And especially if either if you're setting up, so you're the opener, or you're some point in a wider conference, and saying that the opening 30 seconds is never scripted.
no, cannot be.
It's always what's now, what's relevant today, what happened in the canteen, what happened last night at the thing, and just suddenly you've got a context of the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I also try to do what and that is what you become. I've become more structured. I'm a freestyler, creative idiot. So I was always very, I say what I'm going to talk about. I warn people about me. I'm not an influencer. I'm not for sale. I won't say shit that I get paid for. No, I'm a rebel. I get haunted and blocked and censored. So be careful what I speak about today. But that people start laughing because they already think, okay, today is going to be exciting.
It's going to be real.
And I think nowadays, reality and being independent, non-bribable, no sponsor talks. I'm not a hidden influencer. A lot of people only love that. And they are very forgiving if you speak from purpose and passion with a real goal or objective or mission. Then the people are very forgiving because people are now very wary about, well, are you for real?
Yeah. And when I was at Oracle, one of the things we started to do at the end was we would invite senior speakers who didn't agree with our full corporate message. They'd fight a bit of it, and they'd agree with some of it, but not all of it. That meant our audience would go, "Oh, I can have a real conversation with this company."
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Listen, I've used your time.
No, thank you very much.
Drop me your mobile number. I will text you on special days and make sure you're okay.
Super.